We finally got into the Capital One Lounge here at Denver Airport. It is a busy, busy place. Actually wanted to do a wait list when we came up, which was a little disappointing considering they just changed the rules and did away with free guests. So you have to pay for guests or you have to make them an authorized user for 125 a year, which is worthwhile. And we'll talk about that in a second. But they didn't have any time on what the wait list was, and that irritated me a little bit, and when we did go on the wait list, it took, like, 3 minutes. Well, I mean, a little information goes a long way, so Capital One, let's give your people some information and they'll know. So once you get in the lounge, it's pretty big, it has showers here if you're long layovers, there's a bar, everything is free. It's really good, the food was really good, I enjoyed the egg thing and the sausage was good. Everything was good. They got some comfortable seating throughout. There's pods. There don't have any of the space pods like you see in some, but there's couch pods, tables if you have a large group. They do have a nice little lounge area that looks out over the airport, but that was weirdly reserved for three or more right now. I'm not certain if that's something they do all the time, but I will say that it seems a little excessive that a huge area just for three or more. And there was literally no one sitting over there. There were a few singles sitting over there, clearly not following the rules. But in either case, one or two travelers is probably the commons. Yes, thank you. So, that's all good. But let's talk about lounge passes. So you're in an airport for a long period of time. Now, I'm not gonna be the guy to tell you that you need to go and get a credit card. I would never say that. I'm not hyping credit cards, but I will say this, if you're gonna travel especially if you're gonna travel internationally, you really probably do need to get a travel style card. Now, it's not just any credit card. There's a few key things that you're always gonna make sure you look for in a travel card. Number one, the travel card has to do, no fee transactions when you're out, in different countries and you're making foreign purchases. And when you're over making foreign purchases, you never wanna accept the conversion rate at the terminal, be it credit card or definitely if you use the ATM, and those are the ones that often get people. You always want to make your purchase or do your withdrawal in the denomination or of the country you're in and let that conversion happen at your bank. You're usually going to save money on the conversion rate, always going to save money on the conversion rate, actually. So, that's a pro tip right there. Make sure you're never doing the conversion at the terminal of the processing that you're doing where you're at. Now, the other thing is when you want your pre-pass, your TSA pre or global entry reimbursed when this comes up. So you want to make sure that that's offered. That's, only every so many years. So in those years, you're actually going to do better in the long run because you're going to have that big, $120, $125, whatever it is coming back to you. But that's not an every year thing. The other thing that you want is, as low a fee as you can get. Now, these lounge accesses have really gone to the wayside over the years. Back in the day, Amex used to have it for Priority Pass, and Priority Pass is one of the largest lounge networks there is. And you can, get into a lot of different kinds of lounges through theirs. In this particular instance, Capital One is part of that network, is not part of that network, it's a standalone lounge, but they also give you Priority Pass with the Capital One access. Now, the lower credit cards with lower annual fees have pretty much done away with this benefit totally, mainly because of overcapacity issues. There's just too many people using it. And I definitely experienced this back in the day when my Amex had it. You would go to a lounge and you just would be turned away, and you'd have to go to another lounge. It actually happened to me in Houston once, which is where we're going. Monthly fee, the yearly fee rather on the cards that do have it has gotten sort of extraordinary. Eight, $900 or more is very common when you're looking at, and higher when you're looking at your Amexes and your higher value credit cards that are travels that do provide lounge access. Now, the Capital One Venture X is a little bit of a unicorn in this area. It does list its annual fee at $399 a year, and that seems like a lot, although in comparison, it's probably the cheapest of the bundle. You get both, you get all the things I mentioned before, a bunch of other accesses, but you also get two different kinds of lounge accesses, the Capital Ones, which are not at every airport, and then the Priority Passes, which are in a lot more airports because they utilize other lounges and sort of buy access for you. Now, The $3.99 is subsidized, and then every single year they're going to give you a $300 travel credit. And when you use the Capital One booking site, which is no different really than using any other site, if you went to Expedia or something like that, it's very much the same thing. You can use that credit either as a whole or breaking it up on whatever you want. You can use it on a hotel, you can use it on an airline. So that effectively makes the rate $99 a year. Now, this is just about what a normal credit card with no benefits for travel costs you. Then start deducting from that. If you're in an airport and you are on a long layover, you're going to want to get something to eat. You want to get something to drink. Well, if you can go into a lounge and get those things free, on average, depending upon if you're doing a walk and go meal or a sit down meal, you're saving yourselves from anywhere from $10 to $20 a person. So the cost, that $99 gets eaten up really quickly if you just travel once or twice. And even there can be an opportunity where you travel, in one trip and you've got two legs and you maybe arrive at the airport a little bit early, you go to the lounge and then you get your layover and you do the lounge. So you could literally do the lounge twice just on the departure. And then on the way back, you hit it again. So you hit it 3 to 4 times on one trip. You might save yourself anywhere from $40 to $80 just in meals that you don't have to purchase because you were able to eat for free in the lounge. Wi-Fi is also free in the lounge. Now, most airports today offer Wi-Fi. They're a little suspect security-wise if you want to actually grab those up. And the same thing as an open network here in the Capital One Lounge. I would recommend a VPN, or at least don't go to your banking websites and whatnot while using it. But either way, there's fewer people on this uh, Wi-Fi connection there are in the open airport ones. So a little less congestion, a little more access makes it better. Overall, even if it's frustrating getting into a lounge due to capacity, lounge is by far going to make your travel a little bit easier because you get to get yourself out of the hustle and bustle of the concourse. Just the noise level drops so substantially that, you get a little bit of relaxation and, get yourself ready for the next leg of your trip. I'm going to drop down in the link, a Capital One Venture X referral link. Doesn't do anything for me except gets me points, gets you points. If you want to use it, please use it. If you don't care to, that's okay too. But I do recommend if you're doing any traveling, do look for some sort of travel card and look for a travel card that actually gives you some extra benefits like what I've mentioned. And if you can find one at a better deal than $99, I'm going to tell you most travel cards, if you look at even the standard uh, Capital One Venture, which I also have, it has no access. And I believe its fee is $99 a year too, which is pretty much the baseline on credit cards. So once you do away with the travel benefit of $300 a year and you're down to $99, the Capital One Venture X does pack a lot of punch for that fee. So check it out. We are one leg more to Houston, where we will spend the night and then go to Puerto Vallarta tomorrow. We will begin talking about Puerto Vallarta when we get down there. We look forward to seeing you there. Stay wonder worthy.